we have a lot of people that only have money to pay for their basics, so they don't have money to invest. Until we start getting a crowd and we're starting to see it, a movement where people have excess money to invest, the financial advisory market will be struggling, because the financial advisor also needs to survive. Here is a case in point. I charge 100,000 per hour for one person to come and see me. But even then, that's not enough for what I do. I probably maybe could charge double that. So we need to agree that we will not always get it for free. We can't have doctors of finance that are not paid. And so, but agree that there is something that needs to be done. So don't turn to pastors to get financial advice.
That's what everybody's thinking. They think money comes from God, you know. But anyway, looking at it all, you know, what could be the difference? I think sometimes people do not know who financial advisors are, who accountants are, who auditors are, you know. And then again, they are in that mix. People who talk about finances, but you know, in between there, that also comes in.
Because when you talk to a financial advisor, I posted on my Twitter and I said, if you come to me and you ask me about where to invest, the fiduciary principle of financial advisory states that I cannot tell you to buy what I sell. Because I cannot advise you to buy what I sell. Because I understand what a fiduciary in this particular case is. When you come to me, you are vulnerable. You are vulnerable, so I shouldn't be just pushing. Otherwise, I become a salesman. So also be careful. There are a lot of people that are masquerading as financial advisors, but they are salespeople. There are a lot of salespeople. So, but we're seeing the good news is that I'm part of a movement. We're seeing people that now are committing their time to be good financial advisors, and some of them are in organizations. I was at Stanbic Bank, and they do have an in-house advisory team, and the same with NSSF. So it's beginning to appear that it's necessary, but it's driven by the fact that incomes are increasing. What I have noticed over the last 2-3 years is you find people that make 10 million in our economy, that they have a net of 10 million from their salary, and so that pool is increasing. So maybe we'll get better paid in the future.
I'm really hoping, because we want to try our best to get ourselves from the fake ones. You know, it's a bit hard. But of course, since we're talking about finances, school is open, you know, and every parent right now is saying headache, school fees, what, all that is making rounds. As a financial advisor, honestly, why do we get stuck in this situation? And yet we get the money sometimes. But then this time of school,
I think the entire system, the way it's designed, school fees is a problem, because schools are not designed to be paid from your pocket. It's only because we have a system, we have a government that we don't pay enough taxes. Let me put it this way. We don't pay enough taxes, so the education comes into our pocket. It's not supposed primarily to be in our pocket by the design of the capitalism society, because it's a very long-term expenditure. So what you need to know is that since you have it, it's a long-term problem. And if it's a long-term problem, you better have long-term solutions. And when I say long-term solutions, is that you don't pay what your salary can afford today. You also need to look at in the future when you're getting there.
Because the child is growing.
When you're starting out, you might not be able to have a lot more money, but as you invest, you should be able to invest with school fees in mind. And that's why I'm a fan of what they call Muzigo in Kampala, the rental, that if you have one kid, if you're middle class and you can afford the money, get one rental. Because the rental has a monthly income. Now, how you create that monthly income could be from another investment. It could be that you make an investment that still pays you enough to pay your school fees. But I have a rule, and this is important, is that if you look at all your school fees requirements in a term, they should be equivalent to your 1 month's salary. So if a family earns 3 million shillings, they should be able to have school fees for the entire term and its requirements of just 3 million shillings.
Wow.
If you are not, you are in schools you can't afford.
But then we want the best schools, so what do we do?
So, that's also quite an interesting debate that I see from my side, that the more expensive a school is does not necessarily mean that it delivers better results. So if you look at a school that charges 700,000 and a school that charges 1.5 million, this one of 1.5 million does not deliver twice the value as the 700. So my point is that I am a utility guy. I always buy utility. So don't go to a school because it's fancy. Don't go to a school because it has a vibe, it has heritage. People will charge you for this, but the reality is, does your pocket can you afford it with your pocket? And this is important for me as I grew up from a poor background. It's easier for you to increase the standard of the school than to drop it. It's psychological when you drop the standard of education for your kids. So rather than now get to a point where it could break, you might want to start it lower, so that as you can increase it, you get the kids to better schools as your income increases. But if you start with better schools, then your income suffers and you'll be dropped back to your PE. You can imagine from city parents, so if that was a school, and then you drop back to your UPE school, that could be psychological, and it could be a problem.
But again, I was actually having a conversation with my border guy here. So for him, apparently he says that if you want your children to have the best education, the best standards, just don't overgive birth. Apparently.
So it's a reality. Don't give more birth to what you can't afford. That's number one. But also to realize that there are things the teacher will not do for you. The teacher will not teach your kids manners and your culture. and no, there are things you're supposed to do as a parent. So don't try to outsource your responsibility as a parent by paying more school fees.
Should we blame our parents for us being
financially? No, you're a different generation. I am the 40s, so our generation was really raised well. Mostly, we've turned out well.
So how can we change our generation?
Now your generation is the one that is pampering your generation. I think you are the one with the Zoomers or the Alphas. For us, we are the millennials, the older millennials. Now, so I know the generation is for me. So now what you need to understand is that your responsibility as a parent, it goes beyond just school fees. You need to provide for health, you need to provide housing, you need to provide food. So you cannot overstretch yourself on one element and leave out the other.
And I think we just need to learn to teach our children that, you know what, you're enjoying that ice cream, but then again, you need to figure out how the ice cream and where the ice cream came about. I think that's how some parents are really spoiling their children, because the children do not know.
We have conversations about money. And if you are lucky to have a dining table, and I'm not, maybe you might say, if you might not have a dining table at home, but if you do, the dining table is a very good money talking point. When you sit to have dinner, before they clear the plates, have a discussion about money. When you sit in the car and you're lucky to have a car to take kids to school, please have a conversation about money so they can understand. So they know your means, because kids are always gauging you. What I have found with my own, and probably other people have also informed me, kids always think we have more money than what we have.
All the time. You know, they know if I ask daddy for this, he has to give me.
But they understand that. They know daddy cannot give you. For my own kids, they have come to a conclusion. They know the limits. That daddy, just because daddy has money, he won't be able to give to you. People have stories, and I want to share a story. And because I'm in real estate, part of my investments are in real estate. My kids know that I prioritize my sand and my bricks. So the kid goes to school, senior 2, and they're planning a trip to Dubai, and it will cost 6 million per kid. And the teacher is promoting it, and the girl says, "Don't try my dad. I will not even bother. If he has 6 million, he's going to buy bricks. I know that guy."
Wow.
So the kid knows you. You're forming a relationship. And that relationship needs to be formed on solid data, solid information that you're supplying, so that they don't stretch you.
So that if you want an iPhone, I cannot give you an iPhone now. And that's it. So
when my kid, we have a rule at home, you get a phone at 15. So you're allowed to get a smartphone at 16. Now at 15. So I looked at the first iPhone the first phone I bought was an Itel. So I bought an Itel for 150,000. And that was the first phone she had. It's not just because, but I needed her to hand her phone and know the responsibility, and she had seen the problem. 2 years later, she still had it, but it has become weak and it wasn't functioning. That's what I was able to say, okay, now I can upgrade you to a Techno. Not an S10 or something. I can upgrade you. Because they need to understand that just because you have money doesn't mean you splash it.
Wow. Anyway, we're only getting started with Livingstone right here, because later on we're going to talk about in the relationship, these finances, how can we tackle, how can we deal, and how can we manage? Because lately it is one of the biggest problems, and so many have been left heartbroken just because of finance in a relationship.